Yeah. Look, I was on V-Ray before this, and I started just looking what's the best thing because I use Maya, and what's the best thing for my workflow, texture-wise, and everything. And Redshift was always like the most recommended thing. Then I downloaded the demo, and I was like, "Oh, this is amazing! This is so fast!" And yeah, bought it, and since then it really like gives me freedom. Gives me freedom because I hate making assets. I hate modeling. I hate texturing. But this just, you use diffuse map, you use normal map, and you use maybe roughness, and that's it. And that's it. Like, you have your material, you can download them, you can buy them for $1 now. Every different type of material. So it's just creative freedom.
Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm Jimmy Leach with Matthew Melia, and you are listening to the Not Network podcast. This is the show that's not about networking. It's about having an excuse to talk to some very creative people in some specialized fields. Today, on episode 8, joining us on the podcast is Miran Dilberovic. All right. Today on the podcast, on the Not Network podcast, we got a dope dude, Miran. I met him, or I found him from a retweet from Redshift. And Redshift tweeted out this Spidey Skates video, and I had to check it out. And not only was the 3D insane, but also the soundtrack was a complete bop, and I was jamming throughout the whole thing. Corridor Studio, Corridor Crew, Digital Corridor. They made a challenge for a loop challenge, and Miran took it full force, and he hit that bitch, and it was amazing. You have to check it out. We're gonna link it in the show notes. Yes. But I'd like to welcome to the show, VFX artist. Previous artist. I'd call you a 3D modeler, texture, lighting guy. You're an all-in-one kind of
animator.
Beast. Yeah. Miran, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you so much, guys. Thank you for wonderful words.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like I said, I discovered you from Redshift's tweet, and as I started stalking you a bit before hitting you up on the email, I was watching that breakdown, and it surprised me that you were very nonchalant at it. Guys, he titled the tweet, this was before I did Unreal Fellowship, and it was just something that I'd like to release before, and you sounded so chill about it. It was just like, I made this really dope video, and here you go. And like when I saw it, I was seeing it everywhere. I was seeing people retweeting it, and I was like, whoa, who is this guy? So I had to fall in some research. How did you get started with the 3D? How'd you even get to learn Redshift? Because actually, you can explain. What do you actually do?
Oh, well, I'm a previous post-was artist / VFX data wrangler. So that basically means that I design shots for movies, and sometimes I work on set capturing all the data that's needed for visual effects studios to realize the VFX work.
Mm-hmm. And they're big movies.
Yeah, like we should mention, these aren't just like student film projects. These are Spider-Man Far From Home, Game of Thrones, not just small things. And I want to talk about a little bit how you even got to this level when you've only been in the industry for 6 years. Okay, so we're talking about Game of Thrones, we're talking about Spider-Man Far From Home, we're talking about new movies, that are coming out. It's on your website, so I think I can say it. The new Jurassic World is going to come out in a couple of years.
Dominion.
Like blockbusters, worldwide releases.
Widow.
Black Widow.
Detective Pikachu. I love that movie.
Detective Pikachu.
Star
Wars.
Okay, I loved Ryan Reynolds.
There you
go. If I'm being honest, I love Ryan Reynolds in it. But no, okay. I don't mean to shit on a movie with tons of VFX artists, because I know that everybody put in so much work in it. But throughout the whole time I was watching it, I was like, some of it doesn't match some of it doesn't match up. I don't know if it was the blending or something. Did you see that too?
Yeah, because it's different VFX vendors doing same sequences, and then you can see the drop of quality in some of the sequences. Like, oh, it's amazing, and then what? And then amazing.
So wait, that's what happened? They hired different people to do the same thing?
Yeah, that's normal. Like you have at least 5+ different VFX studios working on same show, but on same sequences as well.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. I
So-
thought they hired, like, if somebody was creating elements, that they would, hire this studio for like the elements, and that they would do this scene, and then I don't know, maybe like the 3D modeling for some other studio. I thought they sectioned it off like that. Gotcha.
Yeah, usually it's done by sequences. Like this studio will do this sequence, but when it's a crunch time, then okay, do whatever you can to finish.
I guess so. You got to meet those deadlines.
Yeah, so if that's kind of normal that several studios are working on one sequence, was it just the crunch time that made it, not look as normal?
There's a bit of a time budget.
It really depends. It depends from the VFX supervisor. Like what he wants, what his eye is looking and needs from the shots. So it really depends on multiple elements, but time and money is most biggest differentiate. Yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
That word.
No, my that kind of brought up another question. I don't know if you ever saw Sonic the Hedgehog.
No, I haven't seen it, but I know all the controversy about.
Yeah.
So I want to know your opinion and like your insight on that. So they shot and animated the entire movie, and then they put out the trailer for those who don't know, and Sonic looked like, I don't even know how to. He looked like a humanoid, like small eyes and like teeth, and it was really weird. And so everyone was like, "We're not seeing this movie. This looks disgusting, and I'm not watching it." And so they redid the entire animation of Sonic for the entire movie. Can you give us a little insight of like how much time, money, resources, and decision making that took, if you have any clue?
Yeah. So first things first, like when you animate a character in a movie, we are using mostly Maya software. So we reference in the character. So that means that you can animate it, and then you can update the character and just update the reference, and then immediately the model is updated, but the animation stays the same, right? So I'm not sure if this is in their case, but I think so. So when they updated the model, completely changed the model, they could keep some of the animation, but it needed lots of tweaks. And then they needed to re-render and recomposite it. But it wasn't like, I don't think it was from the scratch. Completely animated from scratch. There was lots of adjusting animation and stuff, but they could just update the reference of the model, and then
Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
But it was not fun for the animators and the guys doing it, because I have a friend who worked on it, and he was working in Germany. One German company was doing lots of stuff, and it was just like crunch, like not just because of the updated design, but just because the director and supervisors changed their feelings about some sequences and shots, and then you need to change stuff last minute. And
Oh jeez.
So it's really all that.
You guys know about that working with clients, right? You know about the changes and
yes.
Yes. So like Matthew does, but like my experience with clients is very little to none. I'm trying to still get my foot into the door of making money or getting some people. You know what I'm saying? And that's the threshold that I'm at. But you said that your position was a previs artist, and so it seems like you have the knowledge of kind of the inner workings of, I don't know, the pipeline of the whole movie, about how one goes from the other. So could you, for people who don't know, because I had to search it up, what is previs artist? What is it? Or there was previs and there was post-vis, right? Post-vis, yeah.
And Tacto is in the middle of it, but so previous artists are people who come in when the script is done in pre-production, and we get the script and we go and visualize the main heavy beats of the story, so main action scenes that are gonna use lots of VFX. So we usually get storyboards, but sometimes we start even before the storyboards are drawn. and we just go by sequence and by shots and create in sometimes in game engines like Unreal engines, and sometimes we just use our Maya software and viewport, and it's basically a low poly animation. We do like 4 shots per day, and then the directors and HODs, heads of department, can see how stuff may look like, and then they can change it accordingly if they like it and don't like it. Then when we settle on a sequence that's edited, it works, it has its pacing, we go and tech visit. So that means, okay, this will be shot on this camera with this crane on blue screen, big this and that. Set needs to be big like that. We give them the diagrams. And then when they start shoot, they want to see stuff, if it's working or not. So if we have, I don't know, CG dinosaurs with actors, we get the plate that's shot that day or yesterday, and we comp in quickly the dinosaurs that we have from previous. So we already animated them in previous. We just take that previous animation for the same shot and put it in the live action plate that has been shot. So they can see almost instantly if the shot is working or not. So that's called post-viz.
Oh,
That's pretty cool.
yeah. So because I thought like it was kind of like a long waiting period, but it's sounding like it's pretty instant from what.
Yeah, it's pretty instant, and it's really cool for anybody who likes. So I love creating movies, short movies, and this is by far the best thing I can do and earn money and create movies constantly, because I'm in charge of animation, I'm in charge of camera, I'm in charge of lighting, I'm in charge sometimes of set dressing, how the set's gonna like, what set needs. So we are making a lot of creative decisions that don't get made in the end, but all the decisions that are not in the script. So we don't know what the set looks like or what the set needs, so we can adjust it how we like it. And then sometimes the director will go, oh, that's shit, I don't want to do that. And sometimes, oh, that's fucking amazing, great job. And then you're like, oh, yes.
Yeah. So you're working directly with the director,
Producer.
yeah, director of photography, directly with these people.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes the directors like previs, sometimes they don't like it. So you have some old school directors who don't want anybody else to create their shots except them.
Yeah.
And then we talk to the VFX supervisor, producers, and some of the HODs. But sometimes you have hands-on director who's sitting behind you with 20 people, and you're like shaking and nervous, and he's
my gosh.
do this, do that, and then Maya freezes, and then you're like, oh, so sorry. And but it's a very rewarding job and stressful, but rewarding.
Yeah. The most stressful jobs are the most rewarding.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Honestly.
No risk, no reward. How did you kind of start into it? Because I was looking at your history, and you went to school for painting, is that right? At the very beginning? Tell us your origin story. How did you come to be?
After my uncle died, I became a just kidding. So no, I always loved to draw. Like, drawing was my thing, drawing comics and stuff. And I went to art high school. So here in Croatia, you can choose what kind of high school you want to go.
Oh, wow.
I love that.
Yeah. So I went in a high school, and I become like official title after 4 years is a painter designer, whatever that means. But then I could go to Art Academy, the college. So it's called Art Academy. And after 5 years, I got their master's degree in animation and new media. So I learned how to animate there, but I've learned how to animate 3D on my own. And then at the Academy, I learned how to do 2D animation, classical animation, how to just learn history of art, learn like how to paint better, how to sculpt better, like it broadened my horizons regarding different disciplines. But all the 3D stuff, I just learned on myself with Andrew Kramer and YouTube. So yeah.
That's right. Tutorials, man.
Shout out to Andrew.
Shout out to Andrew, exactly.
That's cool.
After that, after getting master's degree, I was freelancing here in Croatia, and I'm from a city called Dubrovnik, and I'm a big Star Wars fan, and I'm a big SF sci-fi fan, and Game of Thrones comes into my city, like to shoot. I don't know what was season 2 or something. And I was like, okay, I need to get on that set. I need to work something. So yeah, I think for season 2, I got a job as a floor runner. So floor runner is basically you do everything you need, like anybody asks you on the set. So you handle the actors, you handle their food, drinks, you handle the garbage on set, you talk to everybody. Like you're just there to do whatever needs to be done. It's like 15 hours per day job, and you are dead tired after it, but you learn everything how the set works. Like everything you need, you can learn about set. That's the best job to have, and you learn it. Yeah.
So just real briefly, I know you like skipped over this a little bit, like Game of Thrones came to my city and then I was the floor runner. How did you actually because Game of Thrones is not a small show. Like it was the biggest show for a long time. So how did you did you ask somebody? Did you know somebody? How did you actually get that job on set as a floor runner?
Yeah, so basically I called everybody I knew, because my city is a small city. It's basically 30,000 people. 30,000 people, and Game of Thrones comes in here, and I'm already like, oh, he's the guy who does all those animations, so okay, maybe he can help out. So that's why a bit of luck and connections got me in. But that's like a starting point at any set. Being a floor runner is like you start from there. Yeah. So I was really lucky to get that opportunity. But yeah.
That's amazing.
That's what I love to hear, though.
I know.
Starting at the bottom and just kind of like learning everything, and it's like what you learn in school too. It's kind of the diversification of all these arts that you've accumulated, and then you use it to your advantage. And you you're modeling, you're lighting, you're texturing, you're animating, you're doing like all these things, and I love it how you just like you're so chill. You nonchalantly said, "Oh yeah, I got my master's degree in animating." Congratulations. That's a big deal.
No, it's not a small feat at all.
No. It just sounds like a big feat, but honestly, it's not. I really thought those 5 years, I thought I'm spending my life in nothing, doing, because I don't know if my parents were always or parents here, you have to get degree, because master's degree is here, you can get it in 5 years and then you'll be okay. But in today's world, I don't think that master's degree, especially in our field, matters at all. It matters if they see your work, if they see you can do stuff, you'll get a job. It doesn't matter if you have a degree or not, in my opinion.
Miran, thank you for saying that. That totally validates
this is affirmation.
Yeah, honestly, I. Oh wait, you heard you listened to the second podcast, yeah. So you know my thing. So I appreciate that, dude. Thank you. I'm gonna tell my mom to listen to Miran.
Yes. Yeah, this guy gets it.
Some moms and some parents are gonna say, "Oh, don't listen to that idiot."
Yeah, he's only worked on Game of Thrones and Star Wars. What does he know? So, but do you think, I know you say you don't need one to get jobs, but were there valuable things that you learned in school that you don't think you would maybe necessarily be in the same place without it?
Yeah, I have to say, I learned what not to do, basically, because I went to the art academy, and you'll find there people that just oh, I'm an artist and I can do whatever I want or however I want, and it's going to be art. And it's so extremely chill that I wanted to work. I wanted to have money after it. I wanted to create my stuff, but I know that without money, I can't create my stuff. So I always had to, after I finish art academy, I have to have a job. I have to do something. And if I can find a job that I love and I can earn money, even better. But in academy, there was always this, I don't care what I'm going to do after it. I'm going to just sculpt, model or nothing. So I didn't like that approach. So those 5 years were really difficult for me. So I had to it was so artsy, I have to say that, but I went completely and I said, okay, I'm going to go now and train American football, because American football was completely 180 from art academy, because I had just to change my mindset a bit. And so, I learned what not to do and how not to approach stuff. But then again, I tried painting different styles. I tried sculpting. I tried a lots of stuff which is really positive, but yeah, I always had to like had to have course correction in my head, what I really want to do after the academy, so not to get swept away by all the stuff that's happening there. Yeah.
That's really good. That what you just saying reminds me of the word focus and changing your trajectory. It's like prioritizing and executing what you want. I really appreciate that.
They always say you have to know what you want. Like you have to have a goal. Everybody says that. Like from 5 years old, you have to know what you want, and it really is like that. Yeah.
So immediately after you finished your art program, what did you do like right after you graduated?
Yeah, so my 5th and final year, I had to produce a movie on my own. So that was experience, like when you learn what not to do and how not to do it. So I told myself, I have a year. I'll just go back to my hometown, Dubrovnik, because Art Academy is our capital, Zagreb. I'll just go back home, chill out, make a movie in this year. And then 7 months after, I don't have a shot, I don't have anything, and I'm like freaking out. And then I created something that when I look at now, I'm so embarrassed by it. But again, I went through the whole process of creating everything by myself, and it ended up being shit. But at least you've done that, you put it behind yourself. And then when I got a master's degree, I just, what was it? Just a few months after the Game of Thrones came in. So I was very, But I did not enter. You have to apply to get it to Art Academy because only 8 people are accepted. So first year, just right out of high school, I moved to the capital and I didn't got into the academy. It wasn't accepted. So I worked at a studio. I was doing commercials for TV. With my basic knowledge of 3D, I was doing the washing detergent commercials, like the
washing detergent. Nice.
And so I was freelancing the whole way through of my academy because of that. So I was already freelance animator, and then got master's degree. Game of Thrones came in, and yeah.
Sweet. So after Game of Thrones, you moved to, was it Star Wars, or was it what was the next thing?
Yeah, how lucky am I? So Star Wars was the movies for me when growing up. And I know you're going to hate me, but I love prequels.
No, dude, I love the prequels too.
I love the prequels too.
Hang on, man.
Yes.
This is a safe space right here.
You're welcome here.
I can relax now. I can relax and talk. Yeah, so when that got out, that's why I started doing 3D animations, just animating starships, like starfighters traveling around. And what do you know, after Game of Thrones, episode 8, Star Wars comes into my city. Dude. And because I had already set knowledge, I applied, called people that I knew. Look, I already work on this. If there's any opportunities in VFX, please consider me. And after a few months, they called in and said, "Oh, no VFX opportunities, but there's a special effects. Special effects are needing somebody to help them." So I was like, "Oh, okay, but hey, I can." Special effects is basically droids and creatures and big costumes. So I was okay with it. Yay! And then just a week before they came in, they called me. "Oh, VFX spot opened, and you're gonna be in it." So again, extremely lucky.
Wow.
But I may have exaggerated my VFX skills on set because I knew how to handle the DSLR cameras and stuff, but nothing beyond that. And I may have said, "Look, I know some scanning and texturing and yeah."
That's awesome.
When the guys from the VFX department came in, such lovely people. I couldn't believe it. They gave me time. They taught me what I need to know. There was a time pressure and I had to react really fast, but they were so understanding, and I did good enough job. So they recommended me for another production, and then the ball started rolling from there.
Oh my gosh. That gets me so excited. I love it when someone you're just doing your thing, and you have gone through your art program, and then it takes a lot of hard work, but just a little bit of luck, a little bit of luck, and then it's just like whoosh, and then now you're where you're at. So I think that is so exciting, and also very happy for you that you got to work on your dream for Star Wars, dude. That is so cool.
Yeah.
I can't imagine.
It has nothing to do with me. I can't believe it. Look, Croatia is a 4 million people country. It's a small country. And Star Wars comes into my town. It's just, I can't, I didn't do anything. I just got lucky with it. So
sounds like it was meant to be, Miran.
Yeah. And the people that helped you too. I find and especially with when I reached out to you, you were like, yeah, I'm down to do a podcast. It's like the people kind of the community are super, at least the people I've met. I haven't met any assholes yet.
Yeah.
But everybody's so kind and so willing to give out the information for just resources. And that's encouraging for you to say.
No, I'm just I'm sorry for the people who don't meet people like that on set who are really open and loving. I'm sorry for them, but I was just so lucky to meet them, and they gave me their contacts and say, hey man, whatever you need, just call me. And so Robin Hood came in, and then I went to Budapest with them, and then from then on they called me for a new Star Wars to come in to move to London. And it was amazing. You had to work 15, 16 hours per day, and it's physical because you need to run. You can't sit, and you're handling so much data. A VFX data wrangler means that you need to, for every single take, you need to record what's the lens, what kind of lens, what height of the camera, how, if the green screen is okay, if I need to take pictures of the camera in relation to the green screen. There's so much stuff going on at the same time, and then it's such a hard work, but it's you learn everything. If you want to become VFX after it, a VFX artist, that's a perfect base to cover. Working on set is just, especially in VFX set, it's tough, but it's super, super nice.
Yeah.
Sounds grueling.
I was wondering when I was looking at your LinkedIn, because I did look at your LinkedIn. So it said you did.
Not a problem. You looked at my Tumblr.
I looked at your Tumblr.
That's the problem.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
We'll get to the Tumblr.
So you were doing data wrangling, and then it seemed like you moved to a previs artist, and I was curious, since you got a basis of knowledge of you're learning 3D on your own, and you have Andrew Kramer's helping you out with the VFX, After Effects, stuff like that. But the transition from data wrangler to previs artist, I feel like those are kind of linked together somewhat. So was it an easy transition going from a data wrangler where people I don't know, making suggestions of, oh man, I wish this was set up correctly, or this was set up correctly. Did you have the initiative to be you know what, I'm gonna make sure the setup is correctly, and I'm gonna link the dots together? And did you I'm just wondering, did you morph into a previs artist, or was it kind of super intentional?
Yeah, so postvis is what really links all the VFX data.
Postvis, excuse me, yeah.
Yeah, postvis, because I would have to do HDRI of the set and everything. That what HDRI panoramas need. So now I could use those HDRI and put it in our scenes without anybody telling me, my supervisor telling me, maybe we can use that. I knew what to use. Because I would get now, as a previous artist, I would get all the data that VFX Data Wrangler did. And I know what the data means. So that helped me a lot.
Yes.
But what I didn't mention is, in between all those movies, especially while I was still in Croatia, whenever I had the time, I would do my own short movies or short scenes, 30-second scene. On how much time I had, I would do that. So basically, in 2-3 years that I've been doing that, I could produce a nice short demo reel. So when I was on Solo, Star Wars Solo, doing data wrangling, I was just so exhausted because it was 6 days a week, 15 hours a day, and I said to myself, maybe I can try something else. Previs sounds good. Previs is directing in a small world. Mm-hmm. So I've sent reels to a few addresses, and Third Floor is one of the biggest companies in London. They called me in, they liked it, and I started as a medium. meeting previous artists there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And in your most recent one, I think. Oh no, I'm blanking.
My well,
Was it Black Widow or something after that, or Jurassic
World.
Jurassic World
Dominion, yeah.
Domination? That's what it is.
Dominion, right? Yeah.
Shit, Domination. Oh, you got a crew jacket?
That's a flex.
No, that's so
the
sick.
hardest flex of today.
Yeah,
A crew jacket from Jurassic World, dude. I've got the giggles
Let's see
right
it,
now.
let's see it.
I'm giddy.
it's Dominion. It's Dominion.
Oh, that's
Oh,
so
dude.
badass.
Oh,
I love
I was
that.
flanking too if it was Dominion or Domination, but yeah.
So you went to senior. So you became a senior. Previously.
I worked now 4 years. No, 4 years as a previous post artist, and I worked at the third floor. And I worked 9 months on The Rise of Skywalker, which was fun, but unfortunately the movie didn't came out as we wanted. So then I went to do Black Widow, and then opportunity came into because Rise of Skywalker and the work that I've done there opened a lot of doors. So I switched companies and in a senior role, and yeah, I'm now currently working on Jurassic World 3.
That's amazing.
so quick question, who does Jurassic World? Does Disney own Jurassic now too? Or is that some other one else?
It's Universal.
Universal, okay.
Universal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm
That's the
kind
other
of
part.
wondering, since you went from Star Wars into Black Widow, which is Marvel obviously, and Disney owns both of those titles, is it like being with Disney kind of as an overarching head? Do you kind of like get to move between those?
No, well, basically you work for a company who is then employed by a studio that they need. So Third Floor was the first company, and they had contracts with Disney and lots of other places.
Okay.
But again, on those movies, you have few previous companies working on the same movie. So it's not that you have just one Third Floor doing a previous for this movie. It's because now movies are mostly, especially Marvel movies, are all CG, like 2,000 shots, and you need to previs all that. So you don't have workforce usually to previs the whole movie. So they hire few companies to do that.
Amazing.
Can you kind of give us an idea of like I think people know that it takes a lot. The saying, it takes a village to do something. It takes a village to make a movie for sure. But for something like Star Wars or for like Black Widow, a Marvel movie, how many people are like on set and involved with everything from pre to shooting to post production? Do you have any clue of like how many people are involved total?
Well, I think in total we're looking at 1,000 number. There's set people, and then there's people who are not on set. But usually on production, like on Star Wars, you have, I would say, depends on the setup, but maybe 200 to 300 people on the set doing all kinds of stuff from costume, from extras, from everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really, really busy.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have a small intimate scene, and then there's only 15 or 20 people on set for Star Wars. But then when you have grandiose big scenes, then you have like all hands on board.
Nice.
That blows my mind.
I have a question. Okay, so we were talking about the shorts that you make, the short films. You made one right before episode. It was kind of like a teaser for episode 7, because you're a diehard fan. You made a Boba Fett scene, and it has Boba Fett playing chess with an android, and then the Millennium Falcon. He hasn't seen this in like 15 years. That's the gap
30.
between 30 years. 30 years. That's the gap between episode. What is it? Oh, I'm gonna 5.
That's a 6 and 7.
6 and 7.
6.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah. 6 comes out before 7. Right. Not
That's
5. So he saw the Millennium Falcon after this 30-year gap, and he's playing chess with this droid, and it zooms over him, and he like looks up and dramatically, picks up the gun, and then walks toward it. Did that and it seems like that had an impact with you working on episode 7. And I did read the interview for the Boba Fett fan club. Amazing. And
You were terrible.
I did my research, man.
Yep.
We got to do that at Not Network. So I just love it. I love to see that personal work and personal drive affects, the the outcome of your career. And I also saw this moving to kind of like the thing you did with Redshift, the Spidey skates, is that you made a web slinging friendly neighborhood spider animation, and then a few years later you start working on Far From Home. Far From Home.
Far From Home. Yeah.
Far From Home. Did that have any impact? What did you specifically make that animation because you're like, you know what, it'd be kind of dope to do Spider-Man stuff, or were you just like, fuck it, I love Spider-Man and I'm gonna make this guy swing?
Well, yes. So Far From Home, they've put me on it. I didn't ask for it because you usually have code names for movies. I don't know what that I'm doing Far From Home. It was called at the time Bosco. So that was a code name for movie. So, okay, I'm doing Bosco from April of that year. And then you come in and, oh shit, it's Spider-Man. Like, oh my gosh. And then the first few shots that I got was just like background shots of not that interesting stuff. And then the first shot where Spider-Man was swinging, I got it. And I said to myself, okay, I'm going to do this as best as I fucking can. And when you do kind of stuff, okay, the supervisor notices, okay, give Miran more Spidey swinging shots, give them all Spidey swinging shots.
Oh my God.
And then all of your shots ended up being cut, so they're not in the movie. So then you're like, oh fuck. But yeah, usually I was for Star Wars, like I said, I'm a big fan of Star Wars, and episode 7, me and my fiance went to see into the night, like midnight premiere. And then a few months after this, the episode 8 comes into your city. So just fucking luck, like unbelievable luck.
It's
and
crazy.
Then while Spider-Man Far From Home while I was doing that, they started ramping up production on episode 9. And because it's the end of Star Wars, I asked to be moved on it. So yeah, I really wanted to finish that movie, but I'm really sad how it ended up.
So
what
what
guys
your
be honest about the new trilogy of Star Wars movies? Do you like it? Do you hate it? What's your
I would like to go first.
Shoot.
Here is my honest opinion, okay? So I am also a huge Star Wars fan. When I saw episode 7, I was so ecstatic. Like, at the end of the movie, I was like, I'm so happy. I love Rey. I love Finn. I love Kylo. I love the way that this is going. And I was just so happy and so excited. And then I saw episode 8. And I felt my heart deflating.
Yeah.
My hopes and dreams being crushed. It was like everything that was set up in episode 7 was immediately cut down in episode 8. That's what I felt like. That's how it seemed to me.
Really?
Yes. That is really what,
You illustrated that very beautifully.
because I did the lightsaber motion like that.
Yeah.
And that was a complete accident. But yeah, I mean, like Snoke, here he is, he's all powerful, dead. Like, oh, Finn holds a lightsaber, not in this movie, basically. And then Rose, like, who are you? Just, oh
Who
man,
is Rose?
exactly. I thought Finn was gonna. I really thought Finn was gonna sacrifice himself, and I was like, that might save this movie. Seriously, like if he sacrificed himself, I thought that was gonna be so powerful. I thought that would have like completed his arc to save, his love for
Wow.
Rey and save, like, he would be the hero that he was displayed as in episode 7, just without a lightsaber this time, which I thought was pretty poetic. And then Rose was like, nope.
I can't believe you remember all that.
But it's because it's trauma. We just talked about this. It's seared into my brain.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, but then episode 9 was like, they tried. It was like damage control to me. It felt like damage control. And then from episode 8, and then I was just, spoiler alert, I was like, please, for the love of God. They went through the whole movie. I was like, Kylo and Rey didn't kiss. It's a Christmas miracle. They didn't kiss. I can't believe it. And then we get to the very end. I swear, Miran, I almost walked out of the movie theater. I was so upset. I hate kisses. They're so cheesy.
Dude, but this was the kiss that killed.
I know it was the kiss that killed. He shouldn't have died. He was the best part of the
Kiss of
trilogy.
death, man.
Anyway,
Yeah, the kiss of death.
that's all I have to say about it. I'm sorry. I could rant the whole hour about this.
No. That's why I asked. That's why I asked. What about you, Tommy?
I if I'm gonna be really honest, I have a terrible memory and I can't remember anything. All I remember is the emotion that I had of like episode 7. I was like, sweet, I can't wait for the next one. And then episode 8, I was like, sweet, I can't wait for the next one. And then episode 9, it was like, that's it?
Yeah.
That's all I get? So I don't know. I was super stoked about the water battle, you know.
In episode 9?
In episode 9, yeah. Other than that, I was really stoked about the episode 7's the Millennium Falcon. When I saw the trailer for that, I was like, I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna get this flying space scene. And then episode 8, I don't remember anything. All I remember was the purple hair lady was mean to
Poe.
my boy.
She was in Jurassic
Poe.
Park.
Yeah, was mean to my boy Poe.
For no reason, right?
For no
reason.
I was so upset. I was like, dude, come on, just chill.
Yeah.
We all gotta just like, mellow it down, put on a great movie, smash out some tunes. Maybe I don't know, amp up your stoke, I guess.
Yeah.
Just like mellow it out, guys. They're gonna die, but it's okay. Just I don't know.
I have a
Those are
quick
my
question
thoughts.
for you, Miran. So in episode 8, I just thought about this. Were you involved with the pre or post viz of the scene where she, you know what I'm talking about?
No. I was on episode 8. I was working on set.
Oh yeah. No, you're right. You were data wrangler for episode 8. Is that what it was?
Exactly, and for
okay.
possibly the worst part of the movie, the Kento fight scene with the horse and everything. So yeah, like.
So I'm guessing you enjoyed it as much as we did. The movies.
Not so much, I have to say. I was so stoked about episode 7, and I liked the first part of the movie, the Falcon chase and everything, and then everything fell down for me. I was sleepy and end of the episode 7, and
Oh my goodness, yeah.
yeah. So yeah, I was very cautious on episode 8, but then again, I worked on it and I wanted it to be the best movie that it can be, but
Yeah.
it was what it was. And then episode 9 was really, really disappointing.
Yeah.
I could see from him like how the stuff was not going the way it should have. So yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Wait, can you expand upon that? How did you see it wasn't like were there kind of grumblings on set of like this is not what we wanted?
No. Just I could see the story beforehand, and I could see that it's not going where it needs to go from my perspective.
Yeah, and that's disappointing to work on something really hard, and y'all produced so like the work, the shots, the VFX, the actors, everything about that was phenomenal. It was like it was beautiful when I watched it. Like I was watching like a very clean, crisp picture. I think what everybody was super disappointed in was the story. It's because we all romanticize Star Wars. It's something deep down with us, and but yeah, shout out to everybody who worked on that. It was beautiful. Like you look at scenes beautiful, and I think it won an award, right? The episode 8 won an award for the explosion.
I think so.
We won VFS awards.
Yeah. Which was well deserved.
Yeah. To be perfectly clear, the technical production of the movie is like top notch.
Yeah.
Like it's so gorgeous, and like you can really see the thousands of people doing their magic, and especially ILM. And everybody knows ILM, right? The best VFX company, and they have this magic touch, and you can feel it on the screen. Like you feel that it's ILM. Yeah. I'm like, as a fan of Star Wars, you all every time you watch a movie, you have your own movie in your head, and if it doesn't match up on the screen, it's shit. So it's not easy for directors and screenwriters of those big movies to really nail everything together, but technically it's just like gorgeous to see the end product in the end, especially in the cinema, which we can't do now, but the sound and the music and everything when it gels, and the score is something special.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I love it.
But there still is hope. They have Mando, that we have Mando to hold on to.
No spoilers. I haven't started season 2 yet.
I haven't even seen it. Have you seen The Mandalorian?
Yeah. Like, so I love that I need to wait a week to see a new episode. I just love that. It just brings me in my childhood when you were always like waiting for Saturday or Sunday to watch the movie. This is Friday now, not the movie, but the TV show. But I don't want to binge watch it. Now I can think about it for a week. watch a new episode, think about it again.
I think that's very important.
Yeah, right.
Waiting is important.
It is.
Waiting, just like being in the moment and being like, what is it? What happens when you take on something? I experience something, and then you just like you waiting in those feels, and those memories, and then you see it again the very next week. I love that. I appreciate that because I binge watch.
Yeah.
I watch it how it's not supposed to be intended.
Okay.
I haven't watched Mando though, so.
Oh, so you're gonna binge watch it after this week because it's gonna end, right?
Pretty much, yeah. You know me.
But yeah, so I tell you, everybody dies.
Mm-hmm.
Dang it! Everybody
Spoilers,
dies.
we need to
Baby
put-
Yoda kills everybody viciously, blood and guts.
Speaking of Baby Yoda, Miran, I don't know if you heard. Do you know who Beeple Crap is, right?
Yeah.
So he just made $3.5 million for crypto art.
No way.
Yeah.
Just this last weekend.
Yeah, just
over
this
the
last
weekend,
weekend.
over $3 million.
Yeah, and I just remember his like grotesque images of like of Baby Yoda spearheading Jabba the Hutt or something like that. So just the crazy shit. I don't know if you knew that, but I just wanted to let you know because
No,
I was surprised about that.
that guy. It's amazing. Like
He's
every
something
day
else.
creates a new piece of art. Like, I mean, we call it piece of art, but it is like for him. I saw his interviews and everything. He's nonchalant about it, but so inspiring. Like I have a folder full of his. Like every time I see something cool, I save it for inspiration because that guy is just amazing. Yeah.
It's so cool to see like how effed up somebody's brain is whenever they're putting out something every single day that's like new and something you haven't seen before, and it just looks like a nightmare, but it's like stunning at the same time. It's like, who is this guy?
But can you imagine the pressure of it? Every morning you wake up
Oh
and
my god, holy
do
shit.
something. That's like mental
Yeah.
toll.
I know.
Yeah,
He's a trooper.
topping off on the dailies of 3D renders, but doing it like, I don't know, client work and then own passion project. Like that to me, that's gnarly. Like it takes me, Marin, you're gonna be so disappointed. It takes me days to light a scene. It takes me days to light and animate. Because like I don't know, it's so taxing. I was watching one of your videos and you were like, yeah, this took like five days max to have somebody rig it, to animate, to light, to set up the scene, and doing all the texture stuff. Which brings me to, I'm so curious, how long did it take you to do the Spidey skates?
So I've done it in a period over like month and a half, but when I add up everything, it's 1 week and maybe 2 days or something like that. But
How about like a cardiac arrest?
no.
That's insane.
I can do that because we have such amazing technology now. You have it in your fucking phone. Like
You're so humble.
you can scan objects, you can texture them immediately. It's unbelievable. I had to buy iPad Pro for Unreal thing that I was in, and this iPad has a lidar sensor in it, which means that I can now scan my room without a problem and export it into 3D. And then Redshift and the GPU-based renders that changed my life because they made it so easy for us.
Yeah, they did.
You just now put an HDR in, one light, and everything looks gorgeous. Like everything looks gorgeous, and it's a great starting point for any lighting, rendering, and stuff. Like back then, when you had to use Mental Ray, and so you had to set it up like 100 different times while you get something that's like turn on ray tracing, then your computer bogs down, and then now it's like 3 clicks and I get something pretty special. So yeah, technology.
Did you like Redshift for the creative freedom it had as opposed to Octane? Because I am an Octane user and I am kicking myself because as soon as I bought Octane, Maxon paired up with Red Giant and Redshift, and I was like, ugh, why? So upset.
It's not too late to switch sides.
Come to the dark
Come to
side.
the dark side.
And no, we're definitely the light side. Sorry.
That's what they all say.
Roasted.
Yeah. Look, I was on V-Ray before this, and I started just looking what's the best thing because I use Maya, and what's the best thing for my workflow, texture-wise, and everything. And Redshift was always like the most recommended thing. Then I downloaded the demo, and I was like, "Oh, this is amazing! This is so fast!" And yeah, bought it, and since then it really like gives me freedom. Gives me freedom because I hate making assets. I hate modeling. I hate texturing. But this just, you use diffuse map, you use normal map, and you use maybe roughness if you and that's it. And that's it. Like, you have your material, you can download them, you can buy them for $1 now. Every different type of material. So it's just creative freedom.
And it's like all node based too, so you can just like, play around with it, and just like you said, it's super fast. You can just plug and play.
Yeah, and I know you guys are Adobe fans.
Yes, sir. Love
I
Adobe.
started Photoshop and After Effects and Premiere, and everything is based on layers, right?
Yeah, true.
It's really difficult to get your mind switched to node-based stuff. But when you learn one software with nodes, it's so easy to implement to any other.
Yes, that's the truth. That is so the truth. Because when I was on Photoshop, because I started on Photoshop too, like I pirated Photoshop in high school.
And
dude, yes, yes, dude, yes.
Oh, man,
You can't buy a license when you have zero income, like, and you just want to learn it. And when you can't, when you start earning money from it, then you buy a license. That's completely.
Yes, that's how you do it.
I don't use Maya. I use Cinema 4D. Cinema 4D, yeah. I've always wanted to use Maya, but it's expensive. It's very expensive.
Cinema 4D uses a layer system, so it was easy to transition to 3D. But then when I was like, I need to get on level with the big boys using a node base, and the lower learning curve, like you said, I've honestly forgot the learning curve. Like, I forgot how difficult it was because I like to block out the bad memories.
Right.
So yeah, but you're right. It's a learning curve, and once you get that, it's so easy to plug and play, because now I go on like Substance Painter and Substance Designer, and now I'm just like plugging in stuff.
You get the logic. You know the logic of it, and then it's so easy. It's just like, where do I exactly connect it? And when you learn that, you're free to do stuff.
For real.
What I want, my first node-based program was Nuke, and I was.
Oh no.
Yeah, I came from After Effects, and everything was like layers, and I know where it goes, and I know timeline and everything. And I just turned up to my supervisor, and I had like almost in my tears, I don't know how to do this. And let's do this step by step. And
what a man.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
You need people like that.
Yeah.
Need people like that.
I've heard After Effects is compared with compositing softwares. After Effects is like a little baby, and then Nuke is like the man in the woods.
Look, I still love After Effects, and
I do too. Yeah.
It's still you can do everything in both softwares. It's there's not much of a difference if you render out the same thing comes in both programs. It's I don't know why, but they think the node base is more professional thing to do than layer base. I don't know why, but hey.
Who knows? Are you software prejudiced? Do you like one software more than the other? Let's hear the truth.
I've started with 3D Max, and I couldn't animate a thing. I was so stuck. And then when I tried Maya, I was like, "Fuck you, Max! You take years of my life."
That's the shade I needed
to hear. That's awesome. Moving on from softwares, I wanna also congratulate you. You went to the Unreal Fellowship.
Thank you.
That's a program they accept like less than 150 people, right?
Originally it was 50, then I think now it's 100 for it.
100.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, could you give us some insight of what that was like? Because you just posted it, and then you posted the Spidey skates, and I saw that, and it was really beautiful. All the camera animations and the lighting, and the intro sequence was my favorite with the buildings in the sun. That was really cool.
Thanks. Yeah, basically, last few years we would always hear rumblings. Oh, like we're not going to use Maya anymore. We're going to use Unreal. So we need to start learning Unreal. But I, I never touched Unreal because I just didn't have time to learn new software while working. So when I saw that Epic is making this amazing thing, like we're gonna pay you for a month to learn our software. Like who does that? Like that's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So I applied, and then after a month I got an email, you are accepted. Then I danced like a crazy, so happy. And it was just amazing. Each day you take like 5-6 hours and you just learn. Like you go from the beginning to the end. You learn every stage of Unreal, and Unreal is so good because it's so simple. It's really simple. You can use your camera, your phone as a camera, your iPad to capture your facial recordings and apply them to a rig instantly. It's just super fast, super easy, and Epic doing this was just epic, so to say. Like they paid us to learn their software, and the teacher were the best teachers, the guys who know everything about that software. So yeah, super lucky again to have that opportunity, and now I'm just waiting us to completely switch our workflow from Maya to Unreal.
Yeah. Do you think that's going to happen? Do you think that's going to be like an industry change?
It's we're always gonna use Maya, but just in what capacity? So when we can mocap stuff for Unreal, we're gonna animate it in Maya, and we're gonna render still for next, I think, 5 years. We're gonna render final image for movies from GPU-based renders like Redshift or RenderMan and stuff like that. But Unreal is like each year, every update, and now Unreal 5 is coming, and everything is like getting better and better and better. But it still needs that quality so you can replace Maya for final render picture for movies. They're still missing that, but yeah, they're not far away from it.
Are you excited for Unreal 5?
Did you saw that demo?
Oh, dude, that demo.
PlayStation 5 demo of that girl with the caves and flying.
Yes.
That looks so amazing. And beautiful thing about it was they've scanned the environment. That's a photo scan environment in game engine with millions of polygons, and it's real time. Like how do you do that?
Yeah,
it's crazy.
When I was doing some research on it, it was like they have like an algorithm that just with the polygon count, because it's an unlimited polygon count. Which I've heard like CG memes and designer memes on Instagram. They started making fun of normal maps when the demo came out. They were like, goodbye, we'll never see you again. Normal maps, goodbye. Have a nice life. Because it's gonna have unlimited polygon count, so we won't need those. But they have like an algorithm that bases it down like to get them smaller and smaller and smaller. I think it's so dope. And the unlimited,
pretty unreal.
Yeah, honestly, unreal.
Yeah, and it's all based like where the camera is looking. So maybe behind the camera where you're not looking, the density is not that big. So when the camera turns, it's dense. So I just really don't get it how they make it in an instant, because in Maya, the workflow is really slow. I mean, when you put a million polygons, you feel it. Your computer freezes and everything.
You do feel it.
Yeah, this is just a new level. But then again, that's my point. The software and the technology is moving so fast that for us, being creative is so easy. It's really easy. Like I photo scanned that shoe in 15 minutes. I from photo to 15 minutes, but then what was it? After an hour, I got a 3D model of it. But still, it's amazing and unbelievable. So.
Sure, that makes it so easy. Which photo? I'm curious. What photo geometry did you use? What do you put it in?
I think it's reality capture.
Reality capture.
Yeah, I tried 2 demos of it, and I think reality capture was the fastest. Yeah.
Was this for Spider-Man's shoes? It was for I would like to add, by the way, for that video, me and Jimmy saw it like separately. on our separate Twitter feeds. So like the way that's kind of like been going around, like he didn't show me and I didn't show him.
No way.
He was like, this is because he reached out to you and was like, dude, this is the guy that we're hopefully gonna get on the podcast. And I was like, and then he showed me the video and I was like, dude, I saw that. And so I just think it's cool that we both saw your video separately. That was a really cool video. We'll definitely have that linked in the show notes.
I was really happy because Redshift retweeted it. Like, maybe after 2 weeks, I originally put it in, and then I was like, "Oh no way, they did it!" And so happy. But that's a great thing about it. That when you buy a Redshift license, you get the forums, and you can talk there. You can ask questions. You can ask things to be changed. You can get honest feedback, and they implement it. So it's amazing to have something like that to be. They listen to users.
Oh, you mean so you can like talk to them and say, hey, if this was a little bit different, that would make our lives easier, and then they'll listen to you. Oh wow, that's really important for a company to do, because that's what the software is for. The software is for the people, and for people to basically brand your software for you by creating stuff and posting it on social media and going viral. It's like, why wouldn't you want to change and make it better?
Exactly. And the companies that do that more and more are becoming more and more successful because their programs and softwares are more user friendly, and it's just a natural way to go.
By the people.
Yeah. So I'm just waiting for you guys to start using Redshift so that you can say, "Oh, it's unbelievable."
When I so I did get Maxon 1, so I'm not a student, but I have a student license, and so like with that, and like you were saying, it's like it's easily accessible to everyone. Like the software is getting more accessible. So I now have like the Red Giant suite, so like a VFX studio. Like I got Trap Code, I got Universal, I have Magic Bullet, and so like if I wanted to create like some actual VFX, now it's super easy. That's what I'm planning on doing once I finish my reel.
Let me ask you a question. You know Ian Huber?
He sounds so familiar.
I feel like I recognize that name too.
Yeah.
That Blender guy who does amazing stuff in Blender, and he does that lazy 1-minute tutorials on YouTube with Blender. So you need to check that out first, because
we'll link that.
Oh yeah, Ian Hubert.
I think Ian Hubert, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, he has a bird. Yeah, oh yeah. He proposed. He just got engaged like a few months ago or something. That's what I remember him as. I was like, I usually have my feed of like CGI, and then I see this man on one knee, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. That's why I remember him.
He's such an interesting dude. I think he lives in Seattle area, and he bought like old church or something, and he lives in the middle of the woods, and he does the craziest Blender work, and he does great tutorials, and he photo scans a lot, and he's really inspirational. When you see his stuff, you say, okay, I want to do that. How does he do that? And then he shows you, and then it's so easy. Like, okay, photo scan. He photo scans now with a drone. So it's unbelievable.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Who would have thought, like, you know, like in the future, like, you know, I don't know, when I can't say when we were young because I wasn't from the 90s, but like it's like, you know, back in the day, you know, thinking about like all this like grand technology, it's like, who would have thought that we could send a flying camera and then scan the area that it was flying around and then put it in like a 3D program and just make cool stuff. That's so cool.
Yeah, I've heard about I think they're trying at NBA or something, basically real-time 3D, real-time photo scanning. So you have array of cameras shooting a basketball game, and basically what you get is a real-time 3D of that basketball game, and you can move in space wherever you want to go.
Oh
I think
my
I've seen that.
gosh.
That looks so cool.
That's Matrix, basically.
Where are we going to be in 20 years? We may be living in there in 20 years. Who knows? It literally, like, no joke, it will be the Matrix.
Yeah.
Yeah. We are at the time that you don't know if we are not in the Matrix.
Yeah.
Elon Musk. Yeah.
Elon, I don't trust him.
Shout out to Elon
Shout out
Musk.
to Elon.
I love that man. Such a great guy.
Well,
Cool.
Miran, we have a recurring. Do you have any more questions before we get to the next segment?
I actually don't. I don't. Oh yeah, we got this segment.
Yeah, we have this recurring segment on the podcast called "Explain That Tweet." But I think, in honor of you, scrolling through your Twitter for years.
I'm talking years, all the way. Yeah,
that's not fair.
No, it's totally fair. We're going all the way back to 2013.
But I think we should do a conglomerate for this one, because your Twitter is filled with Formula One racing.
Yes.
So I want to give us a little peek into your passion for Formula One. Where did that start? Where is it?
I started when I was like 10 years old, 98, 99. It's just fast cars, fast loud cars, traveling at amazing speeds, round and round. Mm-hmm. No, it's just like I love that it's a kinetic energy that's unbelievable, and the way they frame some shots on those tracks, I fell in love with it when I was a kid. It's just so visual, and I don't know. I just love that sport. It's technology meets like top sport. Physicality of it is amazing. There's so many people telling me, "Oh yeah, that's on Sundays. That's when I go to sleep because it makes me feel sleepy watching them round and round." Yeah. And then I wanna fight them. Like what?
Yeah. What'd you say?
Yeah. I guess you guys, you're not so familiar with Formula One.
No, we have NASCAR here.
Yeah, I mean,
we live really close to the Texas Motor Speedway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like that's NASCAR?
It's NASCAR, yeah.
NASCAR.
But wait, IndyCar too, right?
Do they do IndyCar? I think they have a track on the inside. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah, they definitely do. I used to like grow up going to drag races. So like looking at I know what you mean by like the high power and Formula One, like that freaks me out because it's not a straight line that you're going on. You're going on a track. You're maneuvering around other people for like a long distance. It can be long distance. So that freaks me out because I remember seeing drag races and like their what is it? Car? That's what it's called. The cars. Some of them would just like blow up or something or like
straight up.
You know. I know one of my dad's friends, he was racing a truck. He modded his truck, and like at the very start of it, his rear axle just popped off, and it was like everybody was like, what do we do? He kept going. He just kept going. And so it's like we were talking about earlier. There's like a risk. There's the bigger the risk, the greater reward. And I feel like that's a big thing about Formula One is that there's a big freaking risk.
Oh yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, it was in world news, so to say, like 3 weeks ago. There was a big Formula One crash where the car split in two, went through the guardrail, and the guy was 20 seconds under the flames, and he survived.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
I saw that.
Giant news, and yeah, you appreciate the risk then, because like, oh shit, what did I do?
Oh, he went away.
Still hear you though. There you go.
There he is.
Yeah, because it's so scary, and his family was watching him like burning, and then he came out of the guardrail like a freaking action hero, and it was live sports. It's just I love it. I had to say. Feed is full of it, especially last race was this Sunday, and my favorite driver who I've supported for 7 years. Danish driver Kevin Magnussen. It was his last race, so I was super depressed.
Shout out to him.
What was his name?
Yeah,
Kevin Magnussen.
Shout out to Kevin Magnussen, man.
So that's why my Twitter feed was unusually filled out with Formula One scenes this week.
That's cool. Thank you for giving us that insight. Also, an insight into like the world of camera operators. They say that the most like talented and slept on camera operators are for golf and motorsports. Because if you think about it, whenever you watch golf, you know they follow that little golf ball after they drive it 400 yards into the air and they follow it in their frame the whole time. Horrifically difficult. And whenever like in F1, someone's whipping past the camera that's like, 20 yards in front of you, the amount of speed that you have to whip that camera as it goes past you is
yeah.
insane, and people don't think about it, but it's just like flawless the whole time, and that's all they do is
I didn't even think about that.
They're controlling the zoom, they're controlling the focus, and they need to move it. It's like unbelievable.
it's crazy. Yeah.
If we have time, can I ask you about your experience on set and working with cameras and stuff?
Yeah, so go ahead.
Yeah, do you like it? What do you like about it? What you don't? Yeah.
So I haven't been on any it wasn't like a real movie set, not like it wasn't Star Wars, but I've operated Steadicam and GlideCam for it was this high school that did like their own rendition of High School Musical, and so they reshot the entire movie as their high school theater program. And so I was helping out with that, doing Steadicam, which was an amazing experience, but it was like a pretty small crew, maybe like 12 or so people, like everyone, lighting, video, and audio. So it was a pretty small crew, and there were maybe 4 camera operators total, me being one of them, as the roamer on the Steady.
That's a lot. Like usually you have 3 camera crews, you have 4 on a movie set. You have 3 camera crews. But tell me about the Steadicam. Like I just love watching the Steady doing the job. Like
it's cool. This was a really small rig, the one that I was using. It was actually called GlideCam. So it's like a different brand from Steadicam, but it's the same thing. It's a gimbal, it's got the counterweights, but it just had a DSLR on the top. It wasn't a big studio camera, so the weight was a lot less. It was maybe around 20 pounds, but still, if you have it on for a lot of the day, it is grueling on the back. Like you're just flexing the whole time, keeping this thing up, keeping it steady. You have to walk differently, but it just provides such a cool, I guess, perspective and like feeling, because it almost, with the gimbal, it's not motorized, so it's not perfectly steady, but it's like you're floating. It's called GlideCam and Steadicam. You're just like floating, and it feels more personal, like a handheld, but it's smooth, like it's on a motor or a tripod or something like that. So it adds really cool effects to your shots and to your movie. So I was happy that I was able to do that. But
how was your feeling choreographing the shots? Like, because you have the additional weight of it, and you can't just move the camera up. Like, how much time did you take to just choreograph what you need to do with the camera and the actors and everything?
So I would maybe practice like once or twice. I would ask the director exactly what she wanted. I would show her, and then I would do it again on my own, and then we would roll. And pretty much that was it. So choreographing was not all that much. Obviously, there were a lot of musical numbers, so whenever the dancers were doing like practicing choreographing their stuff, I was practicing with them as well, in a way, because with that, a lot of people don't realize like a lot of it is kind of like a dance, and especially operating with them. So you have to be in your spots whenever the actors are in their spots as well. So there's quite a lot to it, but it was a very fun experience. I enjoyed it quite a lot.
Yeah, and it's an amazing experience to have like that kind of a production, because it mimics the big one, and using this kind of tech is like I never tried anything similar to it, and I'm just always in awe when I see somebody using it.
Yeah, I hope to, one day be able to work on some more movies with Steadicam, because it's a. So
your goal is to become eventually camera operator, cinematographer?
Yes. Yeah.
No directing.
No. When I first had my interest in it, I thought directing was kind of where I wanted to go, but I didn't understand what all directing entailed when I was younger. It's just like, oh, I want to be a director because they make movies, and that's cool. But it's a lot. It's a lot. And so you have to have a full understanding of all of AVL and not just video. So that's kind of where most of my knowledge is, just in video and strictly camera operating. So that's kind of where I want to stick, at least for now.
Right. Just one more question, if I can. Like,
please.
When thinking about it, the most difficult thing for me would be like, I think this shot needs to look like this, and the director doesn't think it needs to look like this. It needs to look something opposite. How do you handle stuff like that?
What the director says, what they say goes. But of course, like, I always have my opinions, but they obviously are in their position for a reason, and I'm in my position for a reason. And I'm in my position for a reason because I do what I'm told and I do it how they want it, not how I want it. So that's how you keep your job, and that's how you keep, good relationship with the people who are going to be paying you. But I mean, most of the time it's really not that much of a problem. And sometimes I will say something. I will give my feedback specifically for that shoot. I'll say, I think it might be a little bit better if I went this way or if I did this instead. So it just kind of depends on your relationship with them.
Exactly, and learning the humility is one of the most important stuff on set. Makes you go swallow the ego and you just need to say yes, understand, and do what they told you, and that's so difficult.
It can be very difficult, but it's also very rewarding because they have a huge, massive task. Of like you were saying, there's 1,000 people or 200 people on set at once for these big productions, and they have to get all these people to be working for one common goal. And then finally, whenever you see that finished product, that's what makes it worth it at the end of the day. Whenever you see the finished product and you see just your tiny snippet of a little shot that may have made it in, and it's just so rewarding that you were part of a team that made something like that.
I'll say this, and that's what I'm really missing from being on set. When you do the movie, you're the people, you're in a tense situation all the time. And when the shooting ends, and usually the last day of filming, it's so bittersweet. You don't want to, even though it's so difficult and just want to stop it. But then when the last day comes in, you're like, oh no, I don't want this to end.
Yeah.
And then you have a wrap party. It's like you're meeting your whole family and
right.
We're not going to see each other anymore. We've just done this for a whole year. So intense, and you're done. And that's so emotional, much more emotional than seeing the movie on screen in the end. Because you're sharing so many stories, so many emotions with people that you basically don't know, but you meet them throughout this.
Yeah. You share an experience. Yeah.
Yeah. The team effort is huge, and it's awesome because a movie is immortalized, and all that work that each of you put in, how little or how big a part you played in it, it is there forever, and you can watch it, and your grandkids can watch it, and it can be watched forever. And I think that's very beautiful. Even
though if it's a shitty movie or
yeah. Yep, that's right.
For sure.
For better or for worse.
Mm-hmm. Before we close out, I wanna ask maybe a final question. So you just dropped my favorite word, and it's ego. And I have a question. So from a person who's been in the sticks, what can you say? What can you tell people like me and Matthew in our position how to deal with ego? Because I find it as somebody who's not experienced a lot in the career, and especially being a male, sometimes my ego gets to me. How is there ways to manage your own personal mindset and manage other people's? Because I can only imagine how frustrating it is. If you're in Matthew's position, or if you're in your position, Miran, if you have a certain idea and it's good, but somebody else is saying, no, do it my way. How do we get there? How do we de-escalate our ego? How do we detach?
Yeah, it's a great question, by the way. Where do I start? Because my fiance would say I'm an explosive personality, but working, especially in previs, because you do shot after shot after shot, versions of the shot, and you always say, oh, this is not good, change this, change that. And when something is good, nobody tells you about it. You just move on to the next shot and next 40 versions of that shot, because you're constantly hearing what's not good about it. And when something's good about it, just move it on.
There's no praise. Wow.
So it's basically, it ends up, what is your goal in the end? My goal is, to do my best job so that I can do my own stuff later on. Doing the best job means that I need to listen and just comply to everything they say, because people who I listen are in that position because they have experience, knowledge, and everything else to be in that position. So they know what they're saying. Even though I think what they told me is shit, just nods, and they are in the position because they know stuff, and just need to remind yourself constantly about it. So yeah. And my end goal is come home and do my own stuff, because on the weekends I can afford to buy Redshift, do this because I've done my job properly. Now I can do my stuff, and it's you constantly have to work on yourself regarding ego and stuff. It's just constant, and it helped me in my private life. It helped me in my relationship with my family. Just listen more. Don't just listening more, because you need to listen at work. Like, you need to listen what they're telling you. You need to comply. And when you learn that and put that in your family life, it makes things better. But again, it's constantly evolving.
Yeah.
I don't know if I answered your question, but
you did.
Totally.
I think the main thing I'm taking away from it is reminding myself, and like I told you earlier, like I've trouble focusing, so I guess reminding to listen a lot more is really good. Just keeping that in the front of my mind.
So your problem is focusing on one thing for a bigger period of time. Like,
Yeah.
do you want? Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it called? Like a shiny thing up? I've read about it. Like people like. Did you ever work on your project that's longer than a month? Like, you have a project and I have been working on it.
Oh, absolutely.
Same.
Absolutely.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you finished it.
Yeah. I don't believe so. I don't think I've ever. I think it's usually like it's either like a short project, like it'll take me 2 weeks, or. You know what? No, I think I have. I think I have finished like a prolonged. Like, I'll usually work on it every single night, and I think I've gone through a month of working on one
So
thing.
how do you feel about that process when you think about it now? Did you enjoy the process, or was it like painful, or just...
It was like such a learning. I remember like it was hard to learn everything, but the fruition and what I got out of it, it was enlightening, and I felt. This sounds like, I don't mean to be blasphemous, but I felt like just this. I felt power. I felt power. You know, I felt like I've accomplished. I've pushed the needle a little bit more. That's what I felt like.
But that's the thing that drives you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I see.
And for example, the Spidey animation stuff. I mean, it's not that I don't care about the end product, but only thing that I remember fondly now is the process that I went through.
Yeah.
Because you don't think about it in that moment. Oh, I'm doing this now. It's just. The process is it's the most rewarding part. So when I'm entering the new project now, I'm just thinking about the process, how I can manage to make it better and stuff. And that's the needle that like pulls me every time to do it. Otherwise, I just couldn't concentrate. I wouldn't care about, oh, I need to do new animation, or that's so much time, so much assets, blah, blah, blah. But when I think about the process, it's so rewarding. And I need to constantly remind myself, think about the process. Because I know you guys talked about what if the art is the process itself, or the art is what.
Yeah, self-expression.
Like
yeah.
When you were saying stuff like that, I was like, no. Yeah, it's the process. Art is the process. That's the main thing.
Definitely.
True that.
I went on a tangent. Sorry, guys.
No.
Dude, we've said this so many times. We are all about tangents here.
You're double. This is your time to show us those double biceps.
Double flex.
Double flex.
Sweet. Well, I just got to say thank you so much for replying to my email. And it's been such a pleasure to have you on our podcast. Miran, is there anything that you would like to plug, anything that you want to tell the world what you're doing?
I want to plug this amazing podcast.
Oh my God, this is so kind.
No. This is like, first of all, your email was so so amazingly. Like, thank you so much. I blushed when I read that email. No, it's always amazing when somebody recognizes your work, and it's
For
just
sure.
Thank you so much for that. And what you guys are doing is amazing, and like keep doing what you're doing now because it's great.
Thank you so much.
We
Well,
absolutely will.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're not going to plug in your stuff, we're going to plug it in the show notes. So
It'll all be in the show notes. We're gonna have
it'll all
people
be
check
in
out
the
your
show
stuff,
notes,
dude.
So we got you.
It's cool.
And we won't have the Tumblr there. We'll leave that one out of the show notes.
you dodged a bullet.
I did.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thanks again, dude. You're very humble. You're very chill. You're a very nice guy, and you've done some really cool stuff in your career. So thank you for lending us some of your insights and knowledge and just a little bit of your time. We really appreciate that.
Yeah.
It was my pleasure, guys. Thank you so much.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for listening. Wasn't Miran just amazing? We're so grateful to have him on the podcast. Definitely go check out all of the things that we have linked in the show notes at riggedpie.com on the Not Network tab. And please remember, we're not networking, we're making friends.